Welcome back. It's an emergency episode of Mets Daily. Just got home from birthday dinner and go-kart racing, and Pete Alonso is now back with the Mets. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much. We're over 1,000 subscribers. Smash that thumbs up, please, below. Comment below. What do you think of Pete Alonso back with the New York Mets? This is a quick emergency episode. Tomorrow we will have all the details. We'll dive all the way in, but right now, reacting immediately off the news reported by Jeff Passan and everyone else in the baseball world. Pete Alonso back with the Mets on a 2-year, $54 million deal. Pete is a Met. Let's quickly dive into the numbers, and then I'll react. Here it is, 2025, and I was shocked to see this, but clearly Boris and Alonso got their way in terms of a high AAV. In 2025, Pete Alonso will make $30 million. So he'll be arguably right there as the highest paid first baseman in baseball. He will have a player opt-out available after 2025. $24 million in 2026. Now, there's a $10 million signing bonus. So that will ease the cost on the cap for 2025. So I don't know how, I guess they're going to work that on 2025, and that 30 really is 20 in present day value. Maybe they split it 5 and 5, but that'll depend, I guess, if Alonso opts out or not. Now, the Mets don't have an opt-out. It's a player opt-out, meaning that Pete Alonso, if he ends up crap in the bed and having another terrible year, he's probably going to opt in and take the $24 million and try to do it again for 2026. If Pete Alonso has a polar bear kind of year, 45 and 110, and hits 260, he'll probably opt out, and that'll leave the Mets with a chance to potentially get Vladdy or someone else if he's available. Alonso also had a 3-year, $71 million offer on the table that he declined. So he chose to go with the high AAV and bet on himself in some ways. Now, the 3-year, $71 would have got him around close to $24 million a year, which is a handsome payday, but instead he chooses the high first year of 30 and then the chance of 24. But if he balls out, he can opt out of that contract. So, here's my initial thoughts. I think this is good for the Mets in terms they got that short deal. They got the opt-out. They get a potential opt-out after year 1. I think that was smart for the Mets. Listen, $30 million is a lot, but it is 1 year. Usually 1 year is not going to kill you. Again, Cohen, it's not our money. I get it. I was on team move on from Pete Alonso, but I don't hate the structure of this deal because with the signing bonus, it does bring that number down. And if he does ball out, there's a strong chance he'll opt out. I don't know if he wants to go through this song and dance again next year, but you got to think maybe he ends up firing Scott Boras and tries out a new agent if he ends up balling out. So in the end, Pete Alonso, I think, gets what he wants. He comes back to the Mets. He continues his Mets legacy, and he's got the chance here now to hit behind Lindor and Soto. And I think that's what he's thinking in the back of his head is, hey, if I'm hitting behind Juan Soto and I got Vientos more established in the lineup, I got Lindor coming off an MVP-like season, we got everything surrounding me in this lineup and on this team, he's thinking to himself, I could end up having a major bounce back year. So I'm going to bet on myself. I might opt out and then go into free agency next year. And then the Mets can clap because then they can go in on Vladdy or someone else. So I think it's clear. The Mets didn't want to go long-term here. Yeah, they offered 3. They didn't want to go anywhere beyond that. They were interested in maybe other options either internally, whether it's Ryan Clifford, Jet Williams somewhere else, or going after Vladdy. So I think everyone gets what they want here. It's a lot of money for Pete in year 1. If I'm him, I'm ecstatic. The fact he's getting $30 million in year 1, I am shocked by. It's only a year. It's not, the worst thing in the world. I'm a little shocked he's getting that much. But, 1-year deal. I think the Mets hope that he opts out and they could potentially get Vladdy. But listen, Pete's got to really show up this year. I think he had a terrible year outside the Milwaukee homer. He was awful last year, and I want to see a good year from Pete. I'm rooting for the Mets. Like I said, I was against bringing him back, but he's on our team now, so let's rock and roll. And I think, the positive. Let's look at the positive here. The Mets lineup is stacked. I mean, the Mets lineup now, if Pete is a 35-40 hitter, hitting behind Lindor with Soto, with Vientos, fans are hyped up for 2025. And I'm excited for the fact that it's short term and that, yes, he was the best option available. And who knows if Vladdy's going to become available. I keep mentioning him. Hey, in a couple of days, if Hector Gomez ends up right, he might sign that extension with the Blue Jays and he might not be available. But this is good for the present day team and for the 2025 Mets. And if you're a Mets fan, you're thinking about this offseason, and one that I think a lot of fans were down on maybe the last couple of days, you got to be ecstatic. If you were on the team in the camp of Pete Alonso, please come back, or I'm not getting season tickets, or I quit on this team, you got to be jumping for joy. You get Pete here to add with Soto, Lindor, Vientos, Alvarez, Siri. This is a really good Mets team. Like, this should be a 90-win Mets team now. And yes, Pete had a down year, 34-88. I think with Soto in the lineup, he has a shot to bounce back. And I think this contract gives him some motivation to go out and ball with also not having pressure. Because think about it. If he does suck this year, which, I'll be mad about, but I wouldn't be shocked by, he's got the $24 million in his back pocket. He could say, you know what, I'm going to opt in because I'm not going to get $24 million by anyone else next winter. So I think that second year option takes a lot of pressure off his shoulders. And I think the Mets love the pressure being off his shoulders because he could go out and be, the Pete Alonso that fans fell in love with. And if he is, by God, you got to be fired up about the Mets. So again, I didn't want him, but I'm glad for the fans that are happy, and I'm glad for the Mets, because they are a better team now than they were yesterday with him in the lineup. So Pete Alonso, again, 2 years, $54 million, $30 million a year one. Player opt-out after 2025. If he opts in, it's $24 million next year. There's a $10 million signing bonus, so that brings the number down from 30 for 2025. And he had a 3-year, $71 million offer that he declined. So he takes the 2 years for 54. And guess what? Here's my favorite part about this. The saga's over. The never-ending saga is over. Some people just texted me, what a great birthday present for you. Again, I wasn't in love with him being back, but I'll call it a birthday present because it's over. And after tomorrow, we can stop talking about the contract saga, and we can move on with the off season. We could bring guests on the show. We could stop talking about rumors of Yandy Diaz and Justin Turner. We could all live our lives again, and that is the best part about this. Alonso's back. The Polar Bear's back. They brought the band back together. The OMG 2024 Mets are reunited without Jose Iglesias yet, and I would imagine this definitely locks Iglesias being out of the picture, and Alonso gets what he wants. And, Alonso's deal is similar to the deal signed in recent years by fellow Boris clients, Matt Chapman, Blake Snell, Carlos Correa, all who got, bigger multi-year deals the following year. So that's what they're banking on. That's what he's banking on. That's what Boris, if he's still his agent, is banking on, is he balls out and then he gets a more lucrative multi-year deal next winter. And this is a home run for the Mets. Get fired up. New York Mets baseball. This is probably the roster set. Like, if there's any kind of move, it's maybe, a depth bullpen piece, maybe a depth starter. But I think with the addition of this $30 million or whatever ends up being in present day value, I think the Mets offseason is pretty much done. Maybe there's a trade for Starling Marte out there at some point. But this looks like the Mets roster, one that we will break down tomorrow, a lineup that we will break down tomorrow. But as of now, you would expect the lineup looks something like Lindor, Soto, Alonso, Vientos, Nimmo, Marte/Winker, Alvarez, McNeil, Siri, something like that. We'll play around with it on tomorrow's show. Thank you so much for getting us to 1,000 subscribers. Comment below. What do you think about this contract? How you feeling? I know the people who hated on me that I didn't want him back are going to come after me, but guess what? I'm excited. I'm ready. It's over. Pete's back. Congratulations to Pete and his family. Congratulations to the Mets, Scott Boras, everyone, and all the Mets fans for this saga being over. We'll do a deeper dive on tomorrow, Thursday show. This is a double birthday special. How about this? My 34th birthday, Pete Alonso signs with the Mets the year after he hit 34 homers. I hope he hits more than 34. I hope he has more RBIs and has a massive year. Thank you so much for watching Mets Daily. Smash that thumbs up right now on YouTube. Subscribe and share the channel. We're over 1,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for the support 1 month in. Again, we'll talk to you tomorrow. Jake Brown at Jake Brown Radio. We'll talk to you Thursday and dive all into this Pete Alonso news and what the Mets roster looked like. Thanks for watching Mets Daily.